gonna regret this.
Those are the viral words of Assistant Attorney General Devon Flanagan as she was arrested last week. Now, what unfolded that night is a viral clash between law enforcement and one of the state's own prosecutors, complete with demands to shut off cameras, repeated name dropping of her office, and again, those words,
"You're gonna regret this."
Hey, I'm America's attorney. I've been a lawyer for over 24 years. I've helped over 1.2 million people. Let's dive into what went down on that drunken Thursday night and what's happened since and what's coming next. So who is the star of our latest feature film? Well, it's Devon Flanagan. She is a special assistant attorney general in Rhode Island who spent several years working in the criminal appellate unit of the AG's office. Her role involved representing the state in appeals and post-conviction matters, a position that requires both keen legal analysis and the trust of the office. And as a bit of a rabbit trail, the assistant AGs who write criminal appeals, well, they're used to winning, like every time. The types of cases that she worked on were mostly cases where a criminal defendant was convicted at trial and he's filing an appeal on some technical issue. That's usually not successful because the AG wins. It looks like Flanagan had built a steady legal career before the viral arrest that suddenly placed her in the public spotlight. On the evening of August 14, 2025, at around 9:50 p.m., Newport police responded to the Clark Cookhouse located on Bannister's Wharf after staff reported an unwanted party refusing to leave the premises. Most of you probably already know this, but what we're talking about is a trespass. A business is open to the public, right? But if a patron or a member of the public is annoying the business or threatening them or disrupting business, if any of that's happening, the business can ask the cops to trespass someone. It's a face-to-face notification from the cops to the unwanted customer that number one, they have to leave, and number two, they can't come back. When the cops trespass someone, no one is actually in trouble. Instead, they log you in the system as barred from that specific location. But no one actually goes to jail unless, after you've already been trespassed, you come to that business again, or as we're gonna see shortly, you just can't obey the cops. So if you come back, now you're committing the crime of trespass. So first you get trespassed and you have to leave, then later you can commit trespass. But you don't have to. In fact, you should stay away. You don't have to break the law. That's actually pretty good legal advice. When officers arrived to trespass a couple of customers, Bodycam footage shows Special Assistant Attorney General Devon Flanagan and her friend Veronica Hannon remained on site despite repeated requests from restaurant staff and law enforcement. Flanagan asserted her identity and demanded that the officer turn off his body camera, claiming that it was protocol if a citizen requested it.
Protocol is that you turn it off if a citizen requests it to turn it off. She's a lawyer.
She repeatedly emphasized, "I'm an AG."
I'm an AG. I'm an AG.
Good for you. I don't give a shit. Let's go. You're being detained because you're not leaving.
Because I'm what? You have
Can you relax? Sir, she's not doing anything wrong.
AG.
She's not leaving.
I'm an AG.
She's an AG. Buddy, you're not. She's not being
I'm an
arrested.
AG.
Let's go.
I'm not being arrested. You're putting me in cuffs. I'm not being
Okay,
arrested.
do you have any weapons on you?
No. I'm an AG.
Her badge is in the car. You want me to go get a badge?
Let me tell you something. You're
Buddy,
arrested.
get the hell out of here. Buddy, just seriously.
You're arresting an AG.
And as she was being placed in a police cruiser, she warned,
Buddy, you're gonna regret this.
Yeah.
You're gonna regret it.
well, somebody is. Hannon similarly resisted with footage capturing her yelling obscenities, using physical resistance, and attempting to prevent officers from closing the cruiser's door.
Get back, bro. In the car. Get in the car.
No!
Get your feet in the car.
I'm right here.
No!
I'm right here.
Get your feet in the car.
Get your feet in the fucking car.
Dan!
Hey, I'm right here.
No! Dave!
Many reports state that Flanagan was arrested for willful trespass, while Hannon faced charges of willful trespass, disorderly conduct, and resisting arrest. The Attorney General's office has stated that they launched an internal review of this incident. Now, under Rhode Island law, trespass is defined in Section 114426 as the willful entry or remaining on another's property after being forbidden by the owner or someone authorized to act on their behalf. The statute does not require a written notice. A verbal warning is enough, and the request can come from employees such as the restaurant staff. In the case of Devon Flanagan, Clark Cookhouse employees told police that they had asked her and her companion to leave several times, and officers themselves then directed the women to go. By refusing, Flanagan met the statutory threshold for trespass. The maximum penalty for this misdemeanor is up to 1 year in jail or a $1,000 fine, although first-time offenders often see lesser consequences such as a deferred finding or dismissal. Her likely defense would center on whether she had been properly notified to leave, but the combination of staff statements and police commands make that argument difficult to sustain, especially in light of something called a body cam footage? Because in the body cam footage, Flanagan repeatedly states that police officers must turn off their body cams at the request of a citizen. Now, Rhode Island body-worn camera law and accompanying statewide policies make clear that a citizen cannot simply force an officer to shut off a camera by simply asking. Under Rhode Island General Laws, Chapter 42-161, and the Attorney General's body cam protocols, cameras are expected to remain active during law enforcement encounters unless narrow exceptions apply, such as protecting the privacy of crime victims, confidential informants, or in sensitive situations like a hospital. But the rule allows victims and witnesses, not suspects, to request deactivation in certain circumstances. In this case, Devon Flanagan repeatedly insisted officers were required to honor her demand that cameras be turned off, but that interpretation is, inaccurate. In fact, after the body cam footage of Devon Flanagan's arrest went public, the Rhode Island Police Chiefs Association issued a statement directly addressing her repeated claim that officers were obligated to turn off their cameras if a citizen requested it. The association explained that this is not true under the state's body-worn camera law or the standardized policy governing police departments. And I guess when the body cam rules left her head, so did the rules of professional conduct. Rhode Island's rules of professional conduct, particularly Rule 8.4, prohibit lawyers from engaging in conduct prejudicial to the administration of justice and from implying an ability to improperly influence a government official. By invoking her role as a special assistant attorney general in the middle of her own arrest, Flanagan created the appearance that she was attempting to leverage her office to avoid consequences, and you know that other thing, what's it called? Oh yeah, justice. And while her statement may not rise to the level of a separate criminal offense, the ethical implications are serious. Lawyers, especially prosecutors, are held to a higher standard because they represent the public interest, and even the suggestion that they can intimidate officers or skirt accountability damages public trust. This is why commentators and the AG himself described her conduct as embarrassing and potentially disqualifying for her position, regardless of how the underlying criminal trespass case ends up getting resolved. Attorney General Nerona appeared on WPRO radio and spoke on Flanagan's arrest.
She's put me in a bad position. She's embarrassed herself, humiliated herself, treated the Newport Police Department horribly.
Nerona emphasized that Flanagan's interpretation of body cam policy was flatly incorrect. I appreciate the understatement.
Now, the protocol, which is public, it's on our website, is the police officers can, in their judgment, not the request of a third party, a member of the public, can turn it off. But that's generally reserved for situations like where you have a victim to a crime or a witness to a crime, and there may be some concerns on their part about, retaliation or safety.
He noted that in a previous instance where misconduct was less serious or unrelated to official duties, his office has used unpaid suspension as a disciplinary tool.
No question, there'll be a strong sanction here.
If Flanagan were a defense attorney in private practice, her actions might lead primarily to bar discipline under Rule 8.4. But because she's a prosecutor, her conduct is magnified. The office's credibility in future cases could be damaged if defense attorneys argue that her past behavior shows bias, dishonesty, or misuse of authority. The next stage for Devon Flanagan will play out on two parallel tracks: in court on the criminal case and inside the Attorney General's office. On the criminal side, her case is fairly straightforward. Willful trespass is a tiny little misdemeanor in Rhode Island, and first-time offenders often receive leniency in the form of a deferred finding, some kind of filing, or even a dismissal if they comply with conditions like community service, or, and I'm just kind of spitballing here, maybe she needs to see someone about alcohol abuse. Well, that means her exposure to jail time or a heavy fine is low, but the court process will still force her to formally answer the charge, and if she pleads not guilty, to potentially go through hearings or even a trial. The more consequential track for her is the professional one. Attorney General Peter Nerona has already launched an internal review, and he has wide discretion over her employment. If he decides that her conduct destroyed the credibility necessary for a prosecutor, she could be terminated. Alternatively, he might impose a suspension without pay, but even that would leave her career damaged. There's also the possibility of a referral to the Rhode Island Supreme Court's Disciplinary Council, since her statements during the arrest could implicate Rule 8.4 of the Rules of Professional Conduct, and obviously I could have said could implicate because it looks bad. Now, do you think Flanagan should be fired? Do you think that this is simply an unfortunate drunk rant that got out of hand? Hey, do me a favor, drop your pro se opinion down below in the comments, and don't forget, while you're down there, to lawyer up with me, America's Attorney, by hitting that subscribe button. I will be back soon with another legal breakdown. You won't want to miss it, and I will see you then.